Welcome to another episode here at Lighting. Thank you for tuning in. I do expect my loyal viewers to come by and leave a comment. If not, I will message you on Discord for disappointing me. But other than that, thank you for tuning in. Today we have Manuel coming on and talking a little bit about his journey from being a student into being a lighting artist. We'll talk a little bit because it's fresh in his mind. We're going to talk a little bit about, is there a difference between what you've been taught? Is there a difference between something that's going on in the studio? Are there any things he wish he could learn in between there? So on and so forth. So we'll talk a little bit about that. And as we go on, we'll do a couple of more other things as more people tune in. So let's welcome Manuel into the stream.
Hello, everyone.
So, how are you doing?
I'm doing very well, thank you. What about you?
Well, I'm also very good. Good for us. You made it in time.
Yeah, I was a little bit late. Yes.
I was like, oh no, is he gonna make it? Do I have to make up stuff?
I made it.
So, Manuel, we've talked before, obviously, as you mentioned, on the Discord channel, on Lighting Bot, and the meetups that we used to have. So, a shout out for anyone who wants to do more meetups. I'm looking for volunteers to help host the meetups. As you guys know, I'm busy with a couple of things, and I wouldn't mind people to help me out a little bit to keep the community busy and alive and relevant. It doesn't have to be me all the time, after all, as I just told Manuel in private.
Indeed.
And if I'm tired, it's because I am always tired now, because a lot to keep track of at this stage. So, Manuel, you have been studying originally for a while, and you've been working professionally, I think, around 7 months, give or take. What did you start with? Like, what made you think, okay, I'm going to go into the game industry primarily, and what was your process in deciding that?
So it was mainly during my high school. So I grew up in Rome. I've done my artistic high school in Rome. So it was already an artistic subject I choose, since my whole family is driven into art subjects and matters. So I decided to go for that way. And on my third year of the high school, they made us choose different projects with different subjects. And one of those was graphic design or computer graphic. And that, from the third year of my high school, got me into the computer graphic or gaming as well environment. And from that point, I was just like, curious, exploring, because it's also what's high school, right? It's just like a easy education. I know people think it's such a huge deal, but I was just like chilling there. And yeah, from high school, when I finished, I got my diploma in art and computer graphic, and from there I decided to go for a gaming experience and a gaming, studying and how do you say that in English? Like just exploring this environment in a different country, because unfortunately Italy wasn't that great in that field. I've been told by many that we're still far behind. So instead of being kicked for all my life in Italy, I decided to move to England, where I moved to London and studied at the Escape Studios. And there I kept going on my education on gaming, etc. But fun fact, I initially applied for a VFX position. So we're talking about movie stuff. And just later on, I decided to go to gaming and focus my entire education there.
So, I actually remember when I started out, I think I also wanted to be VFX, but then I leaned towards level design, and I did level design for a while, and then I don't know what happened. I ended up here for some reason.
Yeah, nobody knows what happened. Somehow. Yeah.
It's like, it's just, well, what's happened? I was going that way, and now I'm over here. What the hell?
Exactly.
So, During your study years, then, so what did you learn? What was most challenging, and what helped you decide to be a lighting artist? Was it seeing the job position? Was it money? Was it because you think it's easier? What was the reasoning behind that?
So the main example I had uh, was actually my mother. My mother is married with her job. My mother is a painter, and that was a problem for me because when I first moved to the UK to study VFX, because that was what I've chosen initially, I was like, yeah, VFX is cool. Okay, I can do modeling or I can do VFX, whatever. But from I see my mother, and my mother is just like being so attracted to her work, and she's so passionate about it. She could lose everything, could lose me as well, all his children. But if you see her the job, she has the job, and she's still working. She's gonna be totally fine because that's what she really, really liked. And I was like, I'm not like that. I don't feel the same. I know it's very early to think that, but I don't feel the same at all. And I started to worry so much. And from that point, I started to wander around many subjects. So thankfully, my university in the first year provided me with a little knowledge of everything. So it wasn't only VFX, it was VFX, gaming, animation, and you could have done those courses separately. So you could have got something out of every single course. And from that first year, I decided to move to gaming because that's what I felt the most connected to. And that was, one step a little bit closer to what I needed to do in my life in the future, my future career, what I wanted to pursue. But I didn't choose lighting in the first place. I chose modeling. I was like, I love to model, blah blah blah. And then I was like, but am I really going to enjoy looking at a gray cube that I need to model every day of my life, just focusing on that, sculpting or modeling or whatever? Yeah, it's super cool, but I don't know. I feel like it's not me. I was missing that connection with, colors, nature, stuff like that. I know you can texture and stuff, but I don't know. It just wasn't me. And I know this is a little bit long, but, it kind of covers everything, my experience. In the second year of my university, same as what happened in my high school, we had different subjects. They make us decide this is for gaming. They make us decide whether you like VFX for gaming, material artist, prop artist, environment artist, and lighting artist. I kind of knew a little bit all of them except for lighting. I was like, I like colors. Um, I like the fact that to study light you have to go outside and you can literally study for yourself, and it's part of nature. It's science. I love it. It's this reflects me as well. And but do I really just want to put a light in and give it a color? And is this a job? Like, can it be a job for real? And I decided to move there just to try it because this is what I wanted to do. And from there, ups and down. And you can ask maybe another question if you want to be more detailed about it. But there's a whole lot experience from that point where I choose lighting for the first time.
Because on your LinkedIn, I remember seeing that you are specifically every year you had the school you went to. You're posting specifically says lighting artist, and you posted every year something you did for that year in specifically for lighting artists. Is that something you edited later to make it clear when you apply for job, or is that something you did already as a student when you were doing the lighting? Were you already aware of it first year, or did it take you a few years before you figured that out?
Oh, it took me a few years. I was I was like so confused. Even when I've chosen lighting in the second year, I had this vacation on the US after my second year, so between the second and the third year, and I just wanted to drop out and do biology, like from scratch, like out of nowhere, because I love the nature, I love the thingy, and my brother is a biologist as well, so I was like, oh, I want to drop out and do biology. So I wasn't even sure at that time, even though I've chosen lighting and I was in love with most of those aspects. I did not know what lighting fully was, and I wasn't even sure about it, to be honest. So no, it took me a few years, to be honest. Yeah.
Okay. Well, the thing is, so what did you figure out? Because you asked yourself the question in the beginning, where like, is lighting just about putting in light? So what did you learn so far? What have you figured lighting
Yeah.
is really about?
So it took me a little bit to figure it out, because as probably 90% or 80% of the students figure this out by themselves, there's no proper education, or at least there wasn't proper education. I'm seeing like a massive change like in few months, because lighting is becoming so powerful and so famous anyway, together with Unreal Engine and Lumen. But before, it was more, well, before like 1 year ago, 2 years ago, and I'm not talking about years and years, because that was even nothing. Before, when I studied, was like, you need to go to the internet and do your research by your own, because the teacher I'm not gonna know everything, and you have to accept it. And during my second year, I was like doing my little researches, and I wasn't finding much, because there was also, the school project. You were busy just exploring the program and exploring stuff. You were not really too concerned about the subject itself. And it's not like you choose a subject and you say, oh, this is what I want to do for the future, for the rest of my life, in a matter of a second. It takes time to understand it. But once I understood what was that about, crazy, absolutely crazy. The importance a lighting artist role has is immense. And of course, it depends from the game, but to just sum it up a little bit, together with just, yeah, all the coloring, but there is all the artistic aspects, from the colors to the atmosphere. And then from the atmosphere, you can go to, the psychological connection you have with the lighting and the player. With an atmosphere, you can convey different emotions. You can make the player feel different, feelings and whatever. So you can. I felt like I had this connection with the player when doing lighting, and also you have a strong connection with the narration, because lighting needs to be hand on a hand on hand. You say, hand with hand or whatever.
Hand to hand,
Yeah,
hand in hand,
and
something.
yeah, it needs to be extremely connected to the narration. Otherwise, your lighting will be like out of place, or just boring to look at. And so it was also like a matter of gameplay wise, where you had to guide the player from point A to point B with lighting, and all these little aspects that made the lighting artist role a very responsible role. Of course, you have to care. This is what I learned during my university course, is that not only you have all these things that you have to care about, but you also have to care about others people's work, because you're lighting their work. If you're doing it badly, they're gonna be everything is gonna be that just downgraded, because lighting is interaction. Light interacts with materials, and if the materials are not properly made, or your lighting is not properly made, they are gonna fight against each other, and it's not gonna be a good you know outcome at the end. So you have these responsibilities, but for me it was challenging. For me it was like, finally something that I wanted to do. Like, it was closer to an art director role, to be honest. Closer. Of course it's not, it's not close, but closer. That responsibility really, it was a challenge, and it made me proud of what I was studying, what I was doing.
Cool. Quick shout out to Early Gamer. Hey man, thanks for tuning in as usual.
Hello.
Hey Daniel.
Hello,
Hope you're doing
Daniel.
good. Thank you for tuning in. Feel free to ask questions. Can be complicated, can be easy, can be stupid, can be funny. We don't really care. Just have fun. So now that you have done a little bit, what's the hardest part of lighting then?
Learning, I think. From my experience, was the learning process.
So what part of the learning process? Is it the artistic part, the technical part, the outside the engine part, or the soft skills part?
Okay. So mostly
Sleeping?
technical. Yeah, mostly was a technical problem. I have to say, well, we have to recognize that not every single person has the same kind of level of creativity and imagination and stuff like that, or level for how is it, level of detail in terms of reality and stuff like that. So everyone has its own individual skills. And coming from Rome, which is a purely artistic city and historic city and whatever, and coming from an artistic family, I guess I just got some of those aspects in me without even recognizing it. So in terms of the artistical matter, I was like a little bit helped by my upbringing, like upbringing,
Upbringing?
bringing, yeah.
Okay.
So I was a little bit helped already, but how do you know, converge the knowledge you have, the artistic knowledge you have, to the program? That for that you need to be able to know the technical stuff, and that was the hardest part because as soon as I chose lighting, I knew straight away that I was mostly alone on my own. My university provided me with very useful links and very useful resources to go and wonder about lighting. But as soon as I was like going back home and revisiting all those links and studying on my own, because this is what I suggest to students: study on your own, go home, and all the knowledge you gathered on the university, just reapply at home and have fun with it, because most of the stuff are gonna come out at home and not in the university. At least that's from my experience. But all those links they gave me, all those resources, it takes a second to go to the internet and realize that was one click. All those powerful links, you just type Unreal Engine, you have all the documentation. So for the university provided me for those resources there, it was, I don't want to say an easy job, but it was an easy resource. It's like, here's your main stuff. That's it.
And you spent 3 years, 3 years, 4 years learning it?
2 years, yeah.
2 years.
And unfortunately, 1 year and a half was basically during COVID, unfortunately.
Right.
So I was completely at home.
Hello, Valerie. Thanks for tuning in. Thank you. Thank you. So what would you say is the easiest part then? So if the hardest part was learning and keeping up to date, which never stops, by the way.
No, it never stops.
But
Never.
I mean, can I ask how old you are?
I'm 23. Sorry, 24. Just my birthday was like 2nd of August.
So you're still very young. You're like gonna replace me one day, basically.
Thank you.
So no, thank you. It means I have to do more work to keep up.
One day I'll be in your side.
So, you have any idea how much I need to keep learning and keep staying ahead?
It's stressful. It's very stressful. Yeah. You either like it or hate it so much.
Well, I guess.
You're like, can we all stop for a second and enjoy what we got so far?
Well, luckily, that's why we have. Luckily, now you have principal lighting artist and lead lighting artist. So if I were to do any more, I would go to was lead probably to calm down a little bit and train people. Because principal lighting artist, that sounds super exhausting for me to constantly staying up to date with the blueprinting and the code and the engine and the lighting.
Absolutely.
It's a bit too much for me, and I already feel overwhelmed because when I look at your portfolio and other people's portfolio and the time span you guys learn it, I'm like, oh shit, this guy is gonna be cheaper than me. He's gonna apply for some of the same jobs as me. I gotta put in more work, and that is unfortunately one reality I think a lot of people aren't honest about. We have friendly competition, but it's still competition. It's still trying to stay ahead of the game. Obviously, you can never keep up with experience and the tips and tricks and the old stuff that some of older generation learned. We can problem solve in ways that is very outdated if we need to. Like for the game I did for Dusk Falls, there's a lot of stuff I use that's really old school, and you will really have to be old school to know how to do it. It's not something you would learn in this modern education or Lumens for that matter. So do you feel that because when you did your lighting, did you use baking, ray tracing, or lumens? Have you had the chance to use lumens?
No, I never used Lumen. all my work was done like with Unreal Engine. I believe was 4.27, right? Yeah. So I just used that one. All my work share like you know, half like it's half bake and half dynamic. So it's like it it was like an industry simulation where you need to add dynamic when you can add dynamic, but all the rest, if you can bake it, bake it. But yeah, it wasn't also everything baked, because even in the industry, having everything baked can be a problem, or can be problematic in some instance. Yeah, it's just memory and stuff like that.
I'm I think that is very true.
Yeah. So my training basically was like, I want to be as close to the industry as possible. Of course, there are games like GTA. It's fully dynamic, but does it mean that all your work has to be dynamic? Okay, do that. You're gonna just your ratio, or like you know, your when you're looking for a job, your the jobs you can apply for are gonna be like 2 instead of 10 if you do all dynamics. So this is what I'm, you know, that's the mentality I had. So like, get as close as possible to an industry where it, medium level, not AAA, because I can't do AAA. And to be honest, I want to be that person. I know you interviewed like 40 to 45 people, you said, but I want to be that person. I don't know if you had that before. That person that says, that example that says, this person made it, found a job without being a super nerd, because I was not a super nerd at all. I hated looking at all the articles and try to figure out what I need to do. And those readings and readings and readings, there are people that love it. I did not enjoy it. I had to do it, and it was fun for some parts. But man, the amount of articles there are is just crazy. Just yeah, and I wasn't there every night reading on them. I wasn't. But when I applied for lighting, applied like when I applied myself at doing some lighting work, I did it 100%. With all the good and bads, I had so many frustrating times where I literally had, I completely broke mentally. But it is what it is. It's frustration. It's dedication. It's passion. Is
Sacrifice.
you? Yeah, yeah. So, but still, don't think you're worse than me just because I this is my portfolio and it's better than you. I didn't do like I met people that are article nerds and they can know every single thing about a program, every single thing. I was like watching as many YouTube channels as possible to avoid the reading and stuff. But this is where I learned mostly YouTube and some articles. And I've applied myself exploring the program and stuff like that. I I wasn't a nerd, to be honest. And there were students that were 100 times better than me in terms of knowledge. But you see, you can apply the same amount of knowledge and have a different kind of outcome. Depends on where you are.
It's true. In my class, there was 25 students, and at least 4 of them were by far more talented than me than myself. But they didn't necessarily continue in the end, because it takes more than just skills and talent to be very good to actually
Yeah.
make it. There's other skill set. Did I say hello, Valerie? In case I forgot, hello, Valerie. Thank you for tuning in. Early gamer, dude, I miss my lighting practice as I'm away from my workstation for a couple of weeks. God, I hate this job. Some people make other sacrifices. They have to do other stuff as they learn. But
Mm.
I miss live video. Early gamer, do you like narrative games? Have you bought As Dusk Falls yet? If not, I have a key for you that you can
Mm.
get as a thank you for being a loyal viewer. I have one key left to give away, and if you want it, I'll give it to you, since you literally are always online when I do live videos, and I
He deserves
appreciate
it.
it. He does. He actually deserves more, but I don't have a lot to give, so this will be for now. I think I'm addicted to lighting. I like Crisis 2 level design and lighting, and that's a
Mm.
very specific game to
Yeah.
reference. I remember when Crisis did come out, this was pretty high end, high level.
Yeah, it was like such a different thing compared to what was out at the time. I remember it like, wow, so crazy. How you can become invisible. Wow, all the skin stuff. I remember the trailer showing all the fibers in the arms and stuff. It was crazy.
So one of the Unreal Engine that I used was Unreal Engine 2007 because I was studying at the
Mm.
time, and we were making a huge level. And as most students, we're very ambitious. So you say, okay, that's easy, we can do this, and we made the level too big. And I was focused on level
Oh,
design mostly at the
yeah.
time, and I remember this because we didn't know how to make holes because there was no feature in Unreal Engine because it was made for FPS, not outside terrain. So we duplicated the terrain and made them upside down to make the caves we needed basically, and did it
Mm.
creatively. And then later we found out CryEngine has like simple features already to make, because of Far Cry you could just make holes in cave very easily, and we were like, oh, damn, we could have just used CryEngine to pull up our
But I love
idea.
these homemade solutions. I had so many. I called them homemade solutions because I had so many that I needed to give it a nickname. Uh, it's just like it's not a solution, but it works.
Yeah.
It works. So I had so many of those.
And that's the point, isn't it? It's one thing I try and teach my students as well at the mentorship is to problem solve.
Yeah,
It's one thing doing it correctly, but it's another thing to be able to think of another ways of doing things. For
yeah,
example,
yeah,
at
yeah.
in As Dusk Falls, a lot of the lighting is not lighting. It's emissive, transparent decals that I just place on the floor and I invert it so it looks like shadow. Or I do the
Nice.
other way so it looks like light, or I put it on the curtains to make it look like it's subsurface lighting, but it's really
Hmm.
just
Hmm.
a different way of doing lighting. So it's really about understanding light and then using a tool to do that type of
Absolutely.
lighting. So I think a lot of people, they lock themselves a bit too much in like, this has to be this way, you have to use lumens.
No, 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 no,
It's not always the case. There's many
no.
fun ways of doing it.
There's so many
um,
examples in the industry of people finding, just another way to do stuff or to solve stuff, and then they come with a they just go on that way and they build their own engine on based on that way, and they just create another world based on just one guy saying, but what about if you do that instead of doing this. So it's just like it's a form of creativity, to be honest. Problem solving is creativity as well. It's just you need to be there and think of another solution because you don't know the actual solution, and it's just like it's such an important aspect to me, and it was.
That makes sense. I think at the end of the day, it's problem solving. I
Yeah, yeah.
have no problem saying to people, I'm not the best, I'm not the smartest, I am not the most creative, I'm not the most technical, but I have certain skill set that is beneficial still
Yeah.
in doing what I'm doing. And one of them is, funny enough, soft skills.
Hmm.
Is when I work in teams, I make other people feel amazing. I make other people notice. I make other
Nice.
people get valued more than me, and that also helps keep the job.
Absolutely,
So
yeah. Keep
So
everyone charged.
yeah, because one of my first job, which is not on LinkedIn, is I was very
Mm.
cocky before. I'm very arrogant. I was around my 20s back then. I'm 36 now, so we're talking about it quite a long time ago. And
Hmm.
I remember no one wanted to work with me because I was too knowledgeable. I was already quite nerdy. I'd done a lot of the reading, as we were stating earlier. I was like all knowing, and I
Mm.
didn't know how to work with people, and so that didn't really help me at all. That I
Yeah.
knew everything. So after I experienced that, I started spending more time on learning empathy, learning soft skills, learning communication skills, learning to collaborate. So now when I mentor students, it's important that I teach them to do the lighting, the technical stuff, the creative stuff, but also I pay attention to how they speak and treat people, and
Yeah.
acknowledge people, and also how they speak on camera. Really, I pay attention to, because most of the interviews happen on camera, which brings me to a question that you can answer.
Mm.
Daniel has an interview for his first job in a game dev this week. He has asking for any general tips on what he should prepare for or do. I guess the first question I should probably ask on behalf of Manuel is, what type of job are we talking about first? Daniel, if you can quickly type it, that would be nice.
Hmm.
Meanwhile, I'll just comment that I thank you, Valerie, for helping Daniel on the Discord channel. I appreciate that other people are spending time on the Discord and helping each other out. I think it's very important. And no matter what stage we are in our career, that we give back. and take the time to help people and not just take. So thank you for helping him out as well. So he's saying for lighting artists, I'm guessing it's a junior lighting artist, I'm gonna assume, or some kind of a lighting artist. So Manuel, what's your advice? Go, 1, 2, 3.
Mainly two advices, mainly two. I wish to give one, but you can't. But mainly two. The first one is always be yourself. Being another person or be the person you want to be in an interview is so stressful, and you're gonna lose yourself pretty quickly. Like if you're gonna memorize what you have to say, if you're gonna, have everything planned, as soon as you don't remember one part of the plan, I'm talking about my experience, and this is how my brain works. I can make the most, you know, complex, or scenario where I answer all the questions and where I talk about all the things. As soon as I lost one bit of it, all the rest disappears, like erased completely. And I'm like, and I don't know what to talk about. And maybe I want to, like, for this interview, like for this podcast here, I was like, oh, let me prepare. Actually, no. Let's not do that, because after all, I can remember my experience, and I'm sure everything will come out. But to be yourself, just, of course, don't go unprepared, but just simply be yourself. Don't be someone else you want to be, or the future artist you're gonna be, so knowledgeable. I mean, if it's a junior role, that's what we're assuming. They're gonna treat you. They're gonna know that you're a junior artist. So don't think yourself as I'm an art director, and I'm gonna be interviewed for that position, because you're not. They're gonna know you're a junior. Gonna know that probably you just finished your university, and they're gonna be aware of it. So be yourself, and you're gonna be so calm being yourself, and you can actually, make your way out. Or, when you ask you a tricky question, that's problem solving as well, when you can answer in a different way, but it's still like an answer and it's good. And that being yourself helps you remain calm. And the second tip is just do your research on the company you are applying for, because you have to be yourself, that's for sure. But sometimes in a company, you might not enjoy, or they might do a different lighting that you do or that you like. But it's your first job. You're not gonna be, you're not gonna whine about having a different type of lighting that you might not like, because it's your first job. You want to apply for it and you want to go for it. You're gonna have your own experience and knowledge after that. But if you show them you're not the good fit, not that you don't have the knowledge, but you don't like that type of lighting, and you show that, then they might say you're not the right person. So have some strategy as well. You have to accommodate yourself and them. So by doing the researching the company you're applying for, you're actually saying, I know you, I know what you like, this is what I can propose. You can also be like, I like to do this because blah blah blah, and get as close as possible to what the industry does. Well, to not what the company does. So these are the main two tips that I would suggest to everyone.
Cool.
Mm.
It's good. I don't know. Should I give any advice? Probably not.
Well, after 45 podcasts, they should know, right?
Yeah, the 44. You should have watched all of them.
I didn't say anything. Like when I was like, I did my research as well. Like if that's a junior role, well, for everyone that's looking for a job, I listened to Amit's podcasts of different people as well. They helped me out so much. But there's also plenty of stuff in YouTube of different stuff, not lighting roles, but general people are applying for different jobs because you want to get as much knowledge as possible. And they're all like, be yourself, do your research. And I was like, I know, I already know. Like, but trust me, just stick in your head. Just do
I'll
it.
give you 2 free advice only because I see my students are watching. So because they're watching, I'm gonna give you 2 free advice.
Let's go.
No, advice number 1: go in to the interview not as an interview, but as the interviewer. You go in, you ask the questions, you control the conversation. Whenever I have an interview, I don't go and wait for them to ask questions. I bombard them with questions. I ask them, okay, how do you collaborate? How do I have to deal with the conflict? I make them answer. I decide if I want to work with them. That's the attitude I go in, and that's the mentality I go in. I leave there with them asking, wow, that guy is confident. He knows exactly what he wants. And they need to answer the question, am I a cultural fit for them? Because I had gotten my answer by asking the question. The more questions you ask, the more you show your understanding. Because the question reveals your knowledge and your experience. If you don't ask a question, it means you don't have experience. Because people with enough experience know exactly what question to ask. They'll ask question about collaboration, culture, conflict, the pre-production methods, a lot of different things that comes with experience. You can kind of cheat and learn that and ask the question ahead of time and then decide, is it for you, right? And the same goes for these kind of interviews. It doesn't really matter what position it is. So that's number one. That's kind of how I approach these stuff as well. Number two, I generally do not lie. I am very honest. I will tell them exactly what I expect, what I will not expect. I don't go into the interview with a mentality that I need a yes. I don't want them to think I'm desperate, because I'm not desperate. I don't care if I get a yes or no. I'm very particular when I go to the interview. I'm very honest. And most people that I've turned down around across the UK, they know for a fact that if I say yes in the future, they know it's because I really want the job and I'm ready to join them. Otherwise, they will always think this guy just says yes to any company, any offer. So anytime I have an interview, I really make sure that my reputation is left with this guy is honest, this guy has integrity, this guy is loyal. So if I get an offer, I'll do the interview and I'll explain to them, hey, listen, great project, great company, but actually I made a promise. I don't have a contract, but I made a promise that I will stay for this duration of a project. And I don't say yes to the offer. I don't say yes. I stay wherever I said yes to. So they know in the future that, hey, this guy is loyal. So there's long-term planning to do when you have interviews, even if you don't think you can get them. Even if it's a AAA company, you know you're too junior for inexperience. Go in there with a good character, with good integrity, because at the end, that's what gets you a job. You can always learn, you can always do other stuff, but how you treat people, that's very noticeable during the interview. So treat them with respect, but also make sure that you know who you are. This is you. This is your way of doing things. I'll give you another one because I see that another student just popped in. Third advice: make sure that you are very confident when you explain your portfolio. It doesn't matter if they agree or not. Just make sure that you know why you did something. The number of times I have art director respect me because I said this is why I did it. I know it's not correct, physically speaking. It doesn't matter. This is why I did it. This is my story. This is my reason. There's not been one person that has said no, I don't agree with you. They respect it because that shows you have your own art direction. But you need to know why. Cool. These are my three advices. This always works. There's 100% guarantee, but you have to do it with very confident and humility. There's two ways of doing it. If you do it in an arrogant way and you're all knowing, because you're not all knowing, you're probably the least all knowing, but you have to show that you have the security in you to know that you did it with intention. You have an idea of what you do. Whatever happens next is because they are interviewing you to see if you're cultural fit. Normally, interviews is to see, do you fit the culture? And you have to decide that too. That's why you have to ask the questions. Otherwise, you do something I did, that I join a company and I'm like, shit, this is not a company for me. And then you're just unhappy. You get paid well and you're like, they're miserable. And then you end up leaving anyway. That's a very common thing. So these are some key things that I think it works very well and that I teach my students to do.
Good tips. Good tips.
Cool. Okay, next question for you. You mentioned some resources you was advised at the university. Can you share them with us? I'm having hard time finding actually valuable resources.
So, what I can mention, but probably by now it's going to be common knowledge because all lighting artists go to those websites anyway, or channels. But so regarding Googling stuff and not YouTube stuff, I just say Google as many things as possible. I remember going into dark web. I didn't go to the dark web, but yeah, try to just dig it out. I don't have any resources like right now, website or stuff like that, because I always go anyway for on the Unreal documentation because that's one of the most useful thing you can do. But I can give you good YouTube channels. They really help me out. Can I share them, Amit?
Yeah, sure. I don't care, man. I'm not trying to steal people away from resources.
So let me see the name. Okay, so the first one is called Ryan Manning. Those are common names in the lighting, knowledge. So
Ryan, this is a message for you. If you're watching, when are you coming on my podcast? There you go.
yeah,
Done.
Ryan Manning, double N, and then
Right.
everyone knows it's called on YouTube 51 Daedalus. We all know him.
Who
If you
was on
really,
my podcast, so you can
yeah,
watch his videos. Very useful.
yeah, it was extremely useful, just because it does like such a different kind of lighting video, which means like it's just a full experience, and you can literally know how a lighting artist thinks, what he cares about, and it's just like a movie. Each episode is 1 hour long, and I couldn't have felt better for that, to be honest. I really, really needed, they can be very short sometimes. They can be super like too focused on so many things, and but Daedalus was like, I'm gonna do like 1 hour, 2 hour of videos, and I'm gonna go through everything. And for me, it was like I was eating with Daedalus videos. So do that as well. 51 Daedalus, I repeat. Then I had another one. Yeah, he's like more mainstream. It's called William Foucher. William Foucher helps you out with when there are like new stuff coming up on Unreal Engine, and he wants to try them out, and he has like little tips. And well, everyone has little tips, but it really helped me out with single little maneuvers, or stuff you can do that I didn't know about, and maybe they are not shared as much in the main documentation, or they're yet to be shared. He's gonna know them. He's gonna know this information. And again, this guy is called William Foucher, Faucher. So mainly these three guys helped me so much, so much.
Cool. And if you guys really want to speed up your journey into lighting and learn what is necessary, there are also paid courses which happen to be here at Lightingbot at courses.lightingbot.com. So while I go and refill my water, here's a video to show you other stuff you can do.
If that was useful, you should head over to courses.lightingbot.com and consider some of the courses and mentorship. You'll be able to learn all of these things: fundamental of lighting, incorrect materials, exposure, EV, how to use volumetrics, how to deal with light bidding, how to do post-process grading, emissive, how to do fill light and extra lighting, different times of day, how you do it differently for each day using EV, how to go away from the EV and technical lighting to do artistic lighting, understanding curves, analyzing painting, how it affects your art and lighting, how to train your eye and how to learn from painting, candle principle, Purkinje effect, game optimization, the danger of fog that a lot of people don't understand, and lots more. Again, we have had people go through the course and get work. We have some testimonial you can check. Little bit about myself, my co-author Sander, who has been going through the content and improving the content as well. He's a technical lighting artist, so more technical than myself. And you can check all the content that's being added on a regular basis, fundamental stuff, advanced stuff, technical stuff, and we're still adding new content because when students join, they have an ability to ask for some learning. Basically, you can also upgrade to monthly mentorship. You get some extra stuff for discount price, and you have me and other mentors. If you upgrade to 5 months, you can have an opportunity to get some career roadmaps or different offers. If you want a very specific offer, just talk to me and I'll schedule something specific for you as well. Okay, a great opportunity to learn.
Cool. There you go. Lots of options out there.
Awesome.
So there's no excuses, really, not to improve and learn. Also, I use the use the income to fund this stream, just so you guys know, and the StreamYard licenses that I have. So there is obviously a lot out there to learn, and
Yeah.
You have already recommended some good sources, definitely worth checking them out. Eventually, you're going to run out of those free resources and the details, and that's where more professional helps come in. So,
Yeah.
there's definitely, I mean, even Manuel went to 3 years, 2 years to school as well. Obviously, if you're looking to be a lighting artist, my course is obviously 90% cheaper and quicker to do.
Definitely. The amount of money, the amount of money that university got me. Ah, don't let me start it. I was
Yeah.
like chief of a small rebellion, to be honest, because seeing my money going like that. Well, they have improved a lot. I still follow them on my Instagram. They've improved a lot. They've improving. It's just like, it's my experience, my personal experience, and if it wasn't good for me, it doesn't mean it will be, as same to another one.
I mean, I can say it openly. I've had 4 lighting mentors, and I keep finding new mentors. It doesn't matter if I'm senior or late. I will always ask someone to teach me something. And I sometimes I'll find juniors who know something. I don't give a I don't give peep. I don't really care because you always need to learn. And I prefer having mentors at this stage, even for me, because well, I'm a busy person. I don't have time. The time it takes for
Yeah,
me to look through resources online and links and read and check and try it out, that's money lost, that's time lost for me. So I rather just find
yeah,
someone and they go, okay, you give me some of your time and then let's get it done. And obviously, I pass it on to other people as well. So
yeah.
it's been really helpful. Hello, Jedi, for tuning in. Thank you. I hope you figured out the Unreal stuff earlier. Hey, Freya, thank you for tuning in. That's right, early gamer. You're gonna be king of the conversation if you want to make it in this real world. 51 Deadless, also known as Unreal Academy, the YouTube channel specifically,
Yeah.
or Tildman. If you go in our channel, there is multiple interviews that's been done, and he will be one of those people that we have done. You can actually see him here. He's down at the bottom almost on the right side. It says Tillman Milde, and he does some cool stuff as well. So that said, Manuel, yep, William Foucher is definitely, he had a very good promotional video
Yeah.
when he
Yeah.
released the Halo one, and he just grew like crazy. Definitely very useful to use. I think he's obviously very skilled in Unreal Engine, and he definitely has good tips and advices for general Unreal usage. Uh, Good resources. I mean, there are probably more resources, but you had some books too, didn't you?
To book it.
You had a book. You have some books, no?
Oh, some books. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I just have it here. Even though some of them are gonna be super common for lighting artists, but still, I share it.
But a lot of these people are new, and it doesn't matter. Some people
Yeah, it
forget.
doesn't matter.
Some people are lazy. They don't take notes when they watch the stream, and then they come on Discord and ask, "What did this person say?"
Exactly. So the first book, probably most of them are gonna recognize it, but for the new ones, called Color and Light. Is it
Classic
is it the
now.
correct is it the correct like side of view? Right? It's not
Yeah,
like upside. Okay. Nice. This one of the best, because it applies some lighting knowledge in an artistic matter, and this one was so cool for me, like, as well, because it's just like I love art. I'm so into it, and I was really curious to see how lighting applies to art. And in that matter, actually, since we're talking about art, and I know you in your course presentation, you said like you do artistic references and studying for lighting.
yeah. I
Uh,
paint as well. That's why I
mhm.
studied doing that.
Awesome. What art style do you paint? What not what what's your style when you paint? Does any particular style you have?
I mean, I originally started with Monet because I like
Awesome.
expressionist type of style.
Yeah. So what I can really, really suggest is that if you really wanna, maybe you like to paint, but as Ami can tell you probably, you can paint and learn lighting at the same time. And one of the best, I think, this is my experience, this is my opinion. One of the best is the Impressionist movement. With the Impressionist movement, they were like, Impressionist was like early photography. Even though they didn't have a camera, it was early photography. They literally had an instrument, like a little, how do you call it, device? But device sounds like a little bit sci-fi-ish. Well, it was a mirror game, so basically like photography, and it used to reflect the image they have of a landscape or whatever to a piece of paper, and they used to draw that. And impressionism is there, the artistic movement, it was there to capture a single moment of life, or single moment or whatever. That means in the art lighting wise, that means that you need to focus only on what you see in a matter of a second, and you're gonna get all the base knowledge of that image you see, that frame of that landscape, and that's gonna help you out understand what's the real structure of things. You're gonna divide. You look at the panorama, you see thousands of things. Impressionism, and this kind of art is gonna help you separate all these things, get the structure, get the base, and get them in your head, so that next time you know how things work, even though you don't do like the whole picture with thousands of details. And I really, really wanted to do it. I never had time, or maybe I'm just lazy, but I just really want to. Yeah, I'm lazy. I'm lazy. I'm lazy, guys. But I really want to do it. You can literally take a canvas like this, literally this big, and the little it is, the better, to be honest, and go paint. I wouldn't go with watercolors maybe, because watercolors are annoying. You can't get the pure color, even it just takes some time. I would go with strong colors, but try it, because it's not gonna be a waste of time. It's gonna be a hobby. It's gonna be cute, and it's gonna help you so much with lighting, to be honest.
Cool. So these are your recommended books?
Yeah, one of them. Then we have Light for Visual Artists. This one
has been popping up a bit lately. It didn't pop up in the beginning of my podcast episode, but I think a lot of you new guys have been. When was this made? This book? Is it why it's been popping up lately? Because it's not the old book. It's
2010.
Interesting. I never actually bought this book, but I see you're the
first published in 2020. Yeah, this edition was published in 2020.
Maybe that's why it's so popular, because it came in 2020 and it's been getting noticed.
Yeah, this book is really, really good. If you wanna, so that one was more for painting and artistic knowledge. This one is like, it's not scientific, like it's not like you're reading a science book, but it's gonna introduce you to what happens with lighting when it interacts with different materials and conditions and stuff like that. It also have like knowledge in terms of paintings, as you can see here. Like you can't see here, but this is like a painted image, and it shows you exactly what I was saying before, like getting out of all the details and get just the structure. And you can do it with painting so much. And this goes into photography, it goes into shadows, reflections, everything you need to know about lighting and how it reacts with materials, stuff of our everyday life, and everything, to be honest. A little bit of everything. And this is so useful. I would say, if I need to, how you say, like list them from the best one to...
Yeah, which one is the best? Tell me, because I'm gonna.
This one.
This one. I'm gonna go and make a better book then. And then
okay,
next
awesome.
time, mine is better.
You do it. Yeah, I'm gonna read it. And yeah, because after all, paintings is awesome. Whatever, we are the lighting artists for we work on a PC, so we need to know the technical stuff in order to translate them for our program. And this is the best one. Absolutely.
I'll tell you a book that not a lot of people know, and I don't really mention it because it's not really printed anymore, and it cost
wow.
It cost almost $150 to get it.
Oh wow!
If it gets to print, and it's called Illuminate. It's called the Illuminated Pixels. Let's see. Can I get it to show? There we go.
Okay, I see it.
Okay, Illuminated Pixels. It's 500 pages.
Wow.
of the why, what, and how of digital lighting, which basically explains you everything from shadows to rendering to SGRI to Toy Story to IBL to different shadows to foundation to basically anything
That's
you really
interesting.
can think. Multi-pass rendering, image-based lighting, global illumination, render for the artist, tricks of the trade, light, color, camera. So a lot of the stuff I try and pass on is adapted from this book, but for game and from Unreal, basically. So when I read books that you recommend and the books I have, I try and convert it to be easier to understand first of all, and up to date into terms of that it's game lighting. Because a lot of the books that we recommend, it's really lighting, and it's one thing understanding it, it's one thing doing it right.
Exactly.
So I think that's kind of interesting. So I do have other books too that no one mentions. That's been really helpful for me. But DaVinci Resolve actually has been also very useful for me, and I recommend to the students just today actually when I had a session was to learn DaVinci Resolve because the graphs teaches your eyes. You can see the difference when your color is bad, your lighting is bad, exposure is bad, and it teaches you. So over time, you're very, very good at spotting it. So if you don't have time for painting and photography, DaVinci Resolve is very useful to use actually and stuff. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot of ways to approach things, and every person is different, right?
Yeah.
So not every book is going to be useful, not every method is going to be useful. So
No. Well, the fun part of lighting is that it's such a polyedric subject. You can find lighting knowledge everywhere: cinema, photography, art, or psychology as well, because colors induce people to provoke different emotions as well. So you can talk about lighting all day long, and you can connect it to almost everything. And I love it.
to answer your question, early gamer, the next portfolio public review will be once I get 3 more sales on my cheapest course, because the
Let's go.
courses
Not many.
they fund my time when I do this stuff. Also, I'm working in collaboration with another Discord, big Discord, and if I can get them on board, we're gonna do a bit more interesting portfolio reviews as a collaboration. But he's on vacation right now, and he hasn't said yes, but I think he'll be on board. So I'm trying to do a bit more collaboration with other people when we do this stuff. So, because I'm not an environment artist expert. I can spot stuff and I can tell you stuff, but I prefer other people to help out on other stuff that's not lighting related, as you say, or not Unreal related. It could be Maya, it could be Blender, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So we'll see. But thank you for asking. But yeah, just post stuff on Discord and tag me if guys want a portfolio review. I'm more than happy to do one with some other people on board as well. The last one lasted 3 hours. It was supposed to be 1 hour, you see, Emanuele. I don't know if you were around, but it lasted 3 hours. And I was like about to finish, and then more people just found the stream and they just started posting more and more. And I was like, dude, then it was 2 hours and 3 hours. And
If it's gonna last 3 hours, you're gonna see my mother popping in, like for sure, 100%. She's gonna be like, "Is it finished?" Yeah.
But if you want, you can post it right now, and Manuel can give you feedback.
There you go. Nice.
He's skilled enough. I've seen his work.
No. I forgot everything.
Putting him on the spot. Come on, you want to do it? I can do
Let's
it.
go.
Right.
Yeah,
Well,
of course.
again,
Like all the feedback I can give is like it's like my point of view. My point of view is, I was a student a few months ago, to be honest. Like
7 months ago. You're a
Yeah.
professional now. Stop making excuses.
I'm an art director. Bring me
Yeah.
all the portfolios. I'm gonna
Listen to this
judge
guy.
it.
He's already 7 months is a long time at the studio, and let's not forget he's a rock star. So he's definitely learning more stuff than I.
I'm
probably
learning guitar right now.
do. So he's definitely up there at the moment. So he's doing good. But yeah, just post on the Discord or here if you want some quick ones. That's fine. Other than that, we are actually almost on 1 hour mark. That's normally what I ask people to give me when they do the stream. Sometimes we go over if people are keen, but technically I didn't agree with Emmanuel. But do you want to keep talking and hanging out, or do you have someone?
Right now is all good. Let me see if my mother was locked outside.
She's like, oh. She can join. It's okay.
Well, she's a painter. She can talk about
Let's
painting.
just switch to a family interview.
Probably
Let's go
she doesn't
painting.
know English as much.
That's
so,
okay. We have people who speak Italian here. No worries. I'll just pay for a translator later and add it into the video. No problem. So no, yeah. Thank you guys for your time. We want. Do we want to keep his mother outside locked or something?
well, let's
boring,
say we can even stop it if I get a call from
Yeah.
either her or the police or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's fine. So if anyone wants some feedback or portfolio, now's your chance. We will do at least one, no more than 3. We'll do like normal ones. We're not gonna do my type of paint over type of review. We're gonna do like a regular, quick pointers portfolio review. And Manuel has it really fresh in his mind, so he knows his experience because he already did it. So he definitely knows. So if you post it, I give you 10 seconds to post it on the comment field. If you don't, I'm saying goodbye, and I'm gonna talk to Manuel in private and catch up some more with him in private. 10,
and judge him.
9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Sorry, guys.
I was expecting 1.5. Okay.
No, we go straight to 0. So thank you guys for watching. You guys are too slow. Sorry. Go on Discord, post it there, and I will do it there. Thank you. Have a good time. Have a good Sunday.
Same,
I
guys.
don't know who's next on next Sunday or what I'm doing. he goes. Oh bollocks! Yeah, too
Bollocks.
slow. Good. Literally 1 minute to do it. So yeah, too bad, bro. Too bad. Good luck next week. So that's wave goodbye, and I'll talk to him a little bit in private. Again, thank you for tuning in. It was really fun. Again, thank you guys for support. There was quite a few. By the way, everyone watching, stop ninja watching. Give me a like and subscribe. I don't see as many likes. There should be at least over 10 likes and 4 new subscriptions, because I know some of you aren't subscribed. Do it. Give some support. And also look up Emanuele Alimandi on ArtStation.
Yay.
All right, and follow him. He's a good lad, good young boy, making it big.
Cheers,
One day,
mate.
he'll even be bigger. Cool. Thank you. All right. Thank you. Bye, guys. Have a good time.